Ethan, let's switch the conversation now and talk more about how it is that an employer or a self-employed person, an individual, does everyone have a brand, whether they have a brand or not? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, first of all, everybody has a brand,
Yeah.
whether you're intentional about building your brand or not. And this brand word has been it's been buzzing as of late. But really, your brand is just the story that people tell about you when you're not in the room. It's your reputation. Everybody has a reputation, and so yes, even if you aren't intentional about building your personal brand, you have a personal brand.
So why then is it important to be intentional about building that brand?
Well, because the best person to tell your story is you.
That's good.
There is a story being told about you. And if you want to take control of that story, control the narrative, you tell the story of you. And that's why it's important. Because once you control the narrative, then you decide what you want to share versus what you don't want to share. You decide the image that you want to put out there in the marketplace. And so it's very important to be intentional about building your personal brand and telling your own story.
So Ethan, when you and I connected for the first time to do my Behind the Brands series, I didn't understand really why that was so important. But talk to the business owners in this room right now who are underestimating the value behind visible content,
Yeah.
things that really depict who they are and what they stand for.
See, first of all, people don't do business with businesses. People do business with people.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And even though, one can argue that you don't have to be the quote unquote face, right? I know that when I'm doing business with somebody, I want to make some sort of connection with somebody. So even if it isn't the founder, it may be somebody, the sales rep, I need to see and talk to somebody, right? As the business owner, a lot of us underestimate how important it is to build your personal brand, but your personal brand really does drive the business. And if you think about it, if you look at some of the wealthiest men in the world, wealthiest people in the world, look at Mark Zuckerberg, look at Elon Musk, look at Jeff Bezos. Over the last several years, a lot of these ultra wealthy individuals who don't need to quote unquote build their brand because they have the biggest businesses in the world. They have all invested time, energy, effort, and resources in building their personal brand because they understand that brand is everything. Nike has never knocked on my door to ask me to buy a pair of tennis. But we go around the room and count how many people wearing Nike tennis. How many people buy McDonald's. How many brand is everything.
Yes.
And so as a business owner, as a professional, it's important for you to take the time, energy, efforts, and resources to build your personal brand because it is and arguably could be the biggest driving force for your business and your career.
What are some of the mistakes you see people make, typically, Ethan, common mistakes that people make when it comes to establishing a brand or refining their brand?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when it comes to establishing their brand is not starting, overthinking it, overcomplicating it. Now, where high quality productions may be good,
Yeah.
everybody has a cell phone with a camera, right? A live giving it a iPhone 16 Pro Max today.
Just Pro.
Oh, just Pro.
Just Pro.
But I say this to say everybody has the tools necessary to start producing content for their brand, but they simply don't do it because they overthink it, they overcomplicate it, they think I need so much more, right? The best thing to do is to start. And then the next thing is they say, oh, well, I'm not big on social media. Okay, well,
Rubbish.
are you big on money in your account?
Hey.
If you want to make the money,
yes, sir.
And you want to position yourself as an authority in the space, you're going to do the things that are necessary. I wasn't big on studying in school.
Yeah.
But I studied so I could pass,
Yeah.
right? I call myself educated and learned. I wasn't big on reading. I wasn't big on a lot of these things. But in personal and professional development, I do the things that are not natural to me, that I may not like, because I understand the end goal. And really, social media right now, building your brand on social Yet in the digital space is the single best way for you to build and grow your business. And even if you aren't an entrepreneur, for everybody who's an employee, it is one of the single best ways for you to establish yourself as an authority, as a player in the space. Because, like LaShonda said, they can check your social, they can check Google. So take the time and actually build your brand. But the biggest thing is just get started, man.
Indeed. I want to say to you all in the room right now that visibility builds credibility. The credibility will establish your viability. People believe what they see, they do not believe what they heard. And the more they see you doing this thing, the more they will believe you can do this thing. If you are doing it just because or every now and again or on your whatever device you have, you don't have to be big time production, as Ethan said. But you also said something, Ethan, that resonates with me because as much as I have a brand as two talent managers in my company, people want to work with Ahmad,
Yeah.
right? Because they've seen, they've heard, they've witnessed something about Ahmad. And while that is good, it's also bad because you're working to establish the company as two talent management, but don't send me nobody, bring Ahmad, right? But they call because they see, they heard, they feel something that Ahmad has done, can do, will do for them. And many people walk around underestimating the value that's as simple as their face. How do you think? You referenced just starting, like just do it no matter how afraid or unprepared or how unskilled you may be.
You know, the headshot is the first impression, it's the initial thing, right? That first video is the first thing. And what I try to tell people is it doesn't matter when you're strategically trying to position yourself as an authority in the space, whether that's as a business owner or as a top tier employee, right? You want to be able to have enough content that's reflective of that. So literally the same thing. You want to be able to show that you could walk the walk and talk the talk, right? And so I tell people it doesn't matter if you don't have a big following, you know. Right. If you want to position yourself as an expert in the space, you share your knowledge. And if you aren't an expert in the space, you're trying to gain expertise, share your journey. Be transparent, be truthful, be genuine, be authentic, and this is who I am. What happens though is as you consistently build your brand portfolio, you build your content, somebody is going to come across that awesome headshot.
Yes.
They're going to look at that QR code, and to LaShanta's point, like she says on her LinkedIn, she has everything that she would have done. They want to now start consuming this content that you would have over the years, even though nobody was watching, no views, you've been curating, and then they say, you know what, wow, he or she has been at this for so long. They are very knowledgeable. They do know what they're talking about,
Yes.
and they are relatable. So you know what? Are you ready to give them a call?
Yes.
And so I tell people to start producing content now on your area of expertise. And if you aren't an expert, the easiest thing you can do is document your journey of acquiring the knowledge or getting into the space. But you want to have, and people always say, well, how much content should I be producing? As much as humanly possible.
Yes, yes, sir.
The idea is that you want somebody to be able to consume 24 hours worth of content, of your content. And that's a combination of long form, short form, that's YouTube, that's TikTok. It isn't which is better. Do it all.
Yes.
All right? Because
yes.
the more content you have, the bigger your digital footprint. And this is something that we have done with our clients. We do it with our own company. And I was one of those people who did it for everybody else, but hadn't done it for myself.
Yes,
and
yes.
God damn it, I started doing it for myself.
Absolutely,
All right? Because
absolutely.
you want to, like I said, just push as much content out there to increase your digital footprint. Because when they do come across you and they see how awesome you are, they are going to dig. And you want to make sure that they find what you want them to find.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because I'm literally doing this with my personal brand now. And I like to say, to LaShanta's point, it is a situation where you've already built something, right? And figuring out, unless it's a situation where you're completely removing yourself from the industry or the space, or you're removing, which in the case of your personal brand isn't necessarily the case because it's a personal brand, I would say just build on what you have and highlight now the new aspects, right? So case in point, my previous brand was, I had 3 pillars: fitness, business, real estate. And now the really it's called EQ Evolution now. And it just is a elevated version highlighting the things that I'm more passionate about: fitness, fashion. I'm trying to get like my brother here, Derek, and Ahmad, getting my suit on. And so it's now just focusing more and highlighting the things in the area that I'm going in. But it's I refreshed the logo. I just made it a bit beefier because we evolve as beings, right? And so don't overthink it. You don't have to, like LaShonda say, scrap everything that you would have done, but figure out which aspects of you that you would have done that you can still use as a building block to where you want to carry your brand or the direction that your brand is now going. I just want to encourage the fact that everybody is in this room and in this space. Like, this is a conversation that everybody should be listening to. Because like you said, whether you're intentional about building it or not, you have a brand. And your brand is you, it's your reputation. And you'll be amazed to know the opportunities that can come your way if you are just intentional and strategic about the things that you do regarding your brand.
Yes.
And to Levin's point, regardless of how much branding you do, you cannot outbrand a bad experience or bad product.
That is a word.
And so one of the things that you want to make sure is that there's substance in what you're putting out there, that you can actually do the things that you say you can do, you look the way that you say you can look, and you perform at the level that you say you can perform at. And once that's consistent, the branding aspect will definitely elevate that and amplify whatever efforts you put out there. Because a good product with a strong brand is Nike,
There we go.
is Apple.
Yes.
All right?
Yes. Very good. Thank you.